What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 14 of the 2026 MLB Team Preview series. We have reached the Texas Rangers. This one, it's starting to get a little bit easier writing these. Now we're getting into the kind of the fringe playoff team group. So it's getting a little easier, getting a little quicker. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I'm getting a lot of feedback, and I appreciate all that. Before I get into it, quick shout out to W Energy. Go check them out. Link is below in the description. Use promo code BATBOY. Get 10% off. Get yourself some energy drinks. Get yourself some hydration drinks. Get yourself some tumblers. Get a hat. All that fun stuff. Link below. Promo code BATBOY. 10% off. Let's get into the Rangers. 2025 recap. They went 81-81. Finished third in the AL West. They were one of my favorite teams heading into 2025. I really thought they had a really impressive roster. I thought they were going to make a playoff run. I thought they were going to be a lot better than they were. And they finished 500. I did some research. And I knew they hadn't made the playoffs much of late. I didn't realize it was as bad as it was. Going back to 2017. So 2017 to 2025, they have one playoff appearance. And it's the World Series winning season of 2023. 2023 was the only year they finished above 500 in that time span as well. So they have, I think that's 9 years. Do the math for me. 9 years. So they have one season where they finished above 500. They won the World Series. The other 8 seasons, they finished below 500, except for 2025, where they finished 500 on the dot. I was surprised by that. I would have bet a lot of money that they had made the playoffs at least like 3 times in that span. I know they don't go every year, but I thought they had been a couple times since. That's a long time. We're approaching a decade now, where they were AL West like mainstay in the early 2010s, and it just fell off a cliff. Transactions: they added starting pitcher Mackenzie Gore, traded from the Nationals for a collection of prospects. They also received outfielder Brandon Nimmo from the Mets in a trade that sent Marcus Semien to Queens. They added catcher Danny Jansen, 2 years, $14.5 million. They also added starting pitcher Jordan Montgomery for 1 year, $1.2 million, and 2 relief pitchers in Chris Martin and Jacob Junis, each for 1 year, $4 million. In addition to Marcus Semien, they lost outfielder Adolis Garcia, starting pitchers Merrill Kelly and Tyler Mahle, and then relief pitchers Phil Maton, Hobie Milner, and Sean Armstrong. Net win, I believe. I think the bullpen took a little bit of a hit, but I think Brandon Nimmo is an upgrade to Semien. I think Mackenzie Gore is much needed for this pitching staff, which we will get into in depth here in a few minutes. So I like the moves they made. Let's get into spring training. Start off with injuries. So Sebastian Walcott, for those of you that don't follow prospects, he's the number 1 prospect in the Texas organization. He's the number 7 overall prospect in 2026. Out for the year. Elbow surgery. He was a non-roster invitee to spring training. Most likely would not have broke camp. Actually, guaranteed he would not have broke camp. Most likely would not have even played in 2026 at all. But he is in line to be the shortstop of the future for the Rangers. And missing an entire season is going to hinder that a bit. So, interested to see what ends up happening to him. And then also Jordan Montgomery, recent signee, had Tommy John surgery in April of last year. So he should return at some point during the season. Obviously, they expect him to, or they wouldn't have signed him at all. But we don't know exactly when. I would guess probably somewhere in the June-ish time frame. But we shall see. All right, for actual baseball. The bullpen is something that needs to come together in spring training. This bullpen is bad. They got Robert Garcia, a closer that they got from Washington last year. And he probably will be the closer. I don't think he's really a closer yet. Chris Martin, also, who they re-signed. And then it's going to be a struggle after that. Cole Winn and Jacob Junis both had very good seasons last year. Not sure. So Jacob Junis has done it a couple times. Cole Winn, not so much. So it's not a guarantee that they're going to repeat that and slot into locking down that 7th inning. So we don't really know what the path from starting pitcher to Chris Martin / Robert Garcia is going to look like. The rest behind Junis and Wynn: Alexis Diaz, Tyler Alexander, Josh S'mores, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Carter Beaumier. Don't really know how to pronounce his name either. I don't know who any of those people are. I know Josh Sports, but I did a little bit of research and nothing that promising. So I want to keep an eye on the pitching in spring training to see if anybody takes a leap, if anybody can grab hold of some of those slots in the back half of the bullpen, because I think getting from the 5th inning to the 8th inning is going to be difficult for this team. It's going to be difficult to maintain those leads if they have the leads, and they got a good lineup, so they should be able to produce runs. They should be able to get some leads, but that 5th to 8th inning window is going to be a difficult window for them. Jock Peterson. What are we going to get out of Jock Peterson? I thought he was going to be a difference maker for them last year. Part of the reason why I thought they were going to be so good, he was awful in 2025. 181 batting average in 96 games, so not a small sample size. 9 home runs, 26 RBIs. He had an 81 OPS plus, which is the lowest of his career outside of his rookie season, which only was 18 games and like 60 at-bats. Awful. No way around it. 2024, however, just 1 year before, he had a 150 OPS plus, which is the highest of his career. Hit 275 on base of 393 with the 150 OPS plus in 132 games. 23 home runs, 64 RBIs. That's a good season. If he can get closer to that, then this whole lineup looks different. If he's Jock Peterson from 2025, then I see another 75-win season incoming, if the bullpen is even serviceable. The rest of the lineup seems like there's not much to worry about. Jock Peterson is going to be the X factor, and Corey Seager's health, which always seems to be an X factor, but we know what Corey Seager is when he's on the field. Jock Peterson is up and down. Position battles. Catcher, I think they signed Danny Jansen for $14 million. So it seems like they signed him to be the starter. But the more I dug into it, I don't think he's any better than Kyle Higashioka. 2025 comparisons. Danny Jansen hit 215. Higgy, 241. Jansen, 14 home runs, 36 RBIs. Higgy, 11 home runs, 47 RBIs. OPS plus, Jansen 101, Higashioka 102. Games played, Jansen 98, Higgy 94. Seasons are identical for the most part. I'd rather have Higashioka, higher average, on base is a little bit lower, but you get a little bit more run production. They're both righties, so it's not like it's a platoon situation either. If one of them was lefty, then you would kind of see what the plan was. They're both righty. I don't understand why they spent the money on Danny Jansen that they did. I don't know. Maybe they don't think Higashioka can do it for a full season? I don't know. Danny Jansen hasn't really seemed to do it for a full season either. So I'm really confused what the plan is for that. That's something I'm going to be watching this spring, because it doesn't make any sense that they spent that money on Jansen. I don't get it. Nobody wants to be handcuffed to just one catcher. I get that part, but get a cheaper one. You're spending all this money for a catcher that isn't any better than the catcher that you already have, and yet you're spending $14 million on said catcher. Starting rotation also seems to be a bit of a battle. You got Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Mackenzie Gore locked in 1, 2, 3. That's not changing. Jack Leiter probably going to be locked in at 4. He's your highest upside youngin, so he's going to get a full look. Number 5 is a crapshoot. I got 5 names that I think could play a role. Really 4, because I think one's going to need another year of AAA, or a year of AAA. He hasn't pitched in AAA yet, but he's highly touted and he's dominated every level he's been at, but we'll get to him. 5 names I got. Kumar Rocker is 1. In 2025, he pitched 14. He had 14 starts, 5.74 ERA, 64 ERA plus. Wasn't great. He was a very highly touted prospect coming out. He was a first-round pick coming out of college. Very powerful. Throws a really hard fastball. We thought he was going to be a superstar. Hasn't worked out. But there's still a level upside to him, because he only has about 20 big league starts. So it could click still. We don't know. Jacob Latz. That's next option. 2025, 33 games, only 8 starts, but he had a 2.84 ERA and a 1.29 ERA plus. Very, very good. 2024, he was exclusively a relief pitcher, but also had a 1.03 ERA plus that year. He's been above average in any role that you put him in. Not sure how he's going to handle a full season workload of starting because he's never done it before. 8 game starts last year was the most he's ever had in the season, so that could play a role. If he wins the 5th job, he's probably going to have an innings limit, so that's something to monitor. Jordan Montgomery starting the season on the IL. Don't know exactly when he's going to be back. He's a bit of a wild card. Did not pitch in 2025 due to the Tommy John. 2024, however, was really bad. 21 game start, 67 ERA plus, lowest of his career. The 3 years leading up to it was 113, 113, 136. He was a really good pitcher for a while, and 2024 was bad. Maybe he was dealing with an injury. I didn't dig into it enough to know if that elbow started bothering him in 2024, maybe. I don't know. But 2025, he didn't pitch. 2024, he was bad. So take that for what it's worth. The prospect that I think has the best chance to maybe climb into the spot, Jose Corniel. He's the number 2 prospect in the Texas organization. He split time. He made 1 start in the big leagues last year. It was 1 inning, and I think he let up 2 runs. So take that with a grain of salt. It means absolutely nothing to me. 2025 in AA and AAA combined, he made 13 starts and had a 1.89 ERA. In 2024, he threw 101 innings across single A and AA, had 2.92 ERA. He's been good at every level. Probably going to get some looks at some point this season. Is he going to win that 5th spot? If I had to bet, I would say we're probably going to start the season with either Rocker or Latz. I would lean more towards Jacob Latz getting to start the season at the number 5, but Kumar Rocker having the chance to take that from him. But Corniel probably has the highest upside of the 3. And then David Davalillo, he is the number 5 prospect in Texas. He made 22 starts in AA last year, 2.44 ERA. Strikes out at clip about 10.5 per 9. Got great stuff, but hasn't pitched in AAA yet. So chances of him getting the nod without ever pitching in AAA is unlikely, but he's a guy to watch. He's good. Player focus. A lot of directions you can go here. I did Jacob deGrom last year. I am extremely high on Jacob deGrom. Even when he was on the Mets, a Yankee fan, you're not supposed to like the Mets, but he's just so fun to watch. He was so dominant. It seems like he's getting back to that, but again, I did him last year. So I chose Mackenzie Gore this time because I love Mackenzie Gore on this team. Liked him in Washington, wanted the Yankees to trade for him, love him more in Texas than probably 90% of the teams in the league. He has back-to-back seasons with 30-plus starts. 2025, 4.17 ERA, 185 strikeouts and 159 innings. That's a lot of strikeouts. 2024, he had 181 strikeouts and 160 innings, 104 ERA plus. So he's been league average. However, he was doing that all while pitching in the NL East against the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves. I don't think the AL West is as dominant offensively as the NL East. He's also moving from Nats Park, which is an extreme hitter's ballpark, to Globe Life Field, which is an extreme pitcher's ballpark. So I think we are going to see some really good things out of Gore. I would like to see him live in the strike zone a little bit more. His walk rate's a little higher than I would like, but he's got 5 pitches, mixes them all really well. Speeds vary enough to where he can keep hitters off balance. He's got a slider and a curveball and a changeup. So he's got pitches moving every which way. So I like his stuff. I like his makeup. I think he's going to be really, really good in Texas. 2026 outlook. I have a hard time seeing them beat Seattle. I could definitely see them being in contention for a wild card, depending on how the bullpen looks and what those last 2 spots in the rotation look like. But based on the history of this team, I don't know. It seems like they just don't ever get over that hump, other than just one magical season where they won a World Series, when everything kind of fell, all the chips fell the right way, let's be honest, also, which helped. But the wild card is going to be difficult this year. I mean, the AL East is going to dominate, I think, most of the playoff spots. I can see, obviously, they're going to have a division winner, and I can see them taking 2 of the wild card spots, if not all 3. I think the Yankees, the Orioles, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays are all going to be fighting for playoff spots successfully. And then you always got Houston. Houston's like the opposite. Their roster doesn't look great, but they're always there. The AL Central, not as deep. I think it's Detroit's division to lose, but then you got Kansas City that's kind of lingering. I don't know. I think they're going to have a hard time getting a wild card, but I think they're going to be in play for it. I think the fans are going to be able to watch deep into September with playoff hopes alive. I just don't know if I see them actually getting in. That's all I got. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing and all of that fun stuff. Check out W Energy. Link is in the description. Promo code BATBOY for 10% off. Tomorrow we are back with the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is going to be a fun one also because I have them right in the same boat as Texas, maybe a tick above, but right in that same boat, conference-wise, league-wise. So that'll be an interesting one. So don't forget to subscribe, like, check it out, do all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys tomorrow.